we use the padding property on TH and TD to provide some space between border and content in cells. So padding is set in units of length like pixel, cm or centimeter, em, and percent relative to parent's container's width. So for example, we set the padding to 15 pixel. So this will add 15 pixel space around the content of all sides. So you can also apply different amounts of padding to each individual side by using padding top, padding right, padding bottom, or padding left. So here are examples of how you can implement that. Alternatively, padding can be set using box model shorthand, specifying all 4 sides in one go. So it is specified in the order top, right, bottom, and left padding. So here is an example. So here 20 pixel for top, 30 pixel for right, 40 pixel for bottom, and 50 pixel for left padding. So the other box model shorthands work too, like this. So you can use EM and 0.1 for the top and bottom, and left and right. And also you can also use this. So let's look at an example. So in this example, we use the padding for the TD and TH. So this is for the header and this is for the data. And we set both with a padding of 20 pixel, and notice the space in all 4 sides. Border spacing. So this property specifies the distance between cells borders. So this is different from padding, on which is space inside a cell's border. So in this property, the value is specified in units of length like pixel, em, cm, and percent too. So it has the inherit property whose default value is 0. It can accept 2 values, one for horizontal and another for vertical spacing. If only one value is provided, then it is used for both settings. So here is an example of how you can use border spacing. So some things to keep in mind: if you try to apply spacing only to TH and TD elements, you will need to ensure there is a table border, else you won't see a difference. And then you have to set border collapse property and give it a value of separate for it to take effect. So let's see an example. Example 14. So you can notice here the spacing around the elements, on which on the first table we set the border spacing to 50 pixels. For table 2, we set 25 and 50 pixels. 25 for both for the top and bottom, and 50 for left and right side of this table. And then also Conversely, we set the left and right side to 50 pixels and 25 pixels for the top and bottom part of the table. So this is how you can use table spacing property in your CSS for your tables. Side borders. So the simple border property will set the border to all four sides of the table element. So you can also set borders on individual sides. Could be top, right, bottom, or left like this. So in this example, this will set the border of the right part of the table to 1 pixel solid black. So let's see example 15. So in this example, we use border bottom property and set it to 1 pixel solid black. So, and this is the result. Zebra table. So, a zebra table has alternating colors for table rows, making it easier to differentiate data between rows. Or you can specify which rows you want to differentiate using a different color. So typically, you use this property to set to a set of even or odd table rows to create a stripe effect. So for example, here in this example, so see how you can use to set the odd or even rows to a particular column and leave the other rows white by default, as color is the default color for table. So here we expect here that all even rows will be colored in gray. And in this example, this is for another table, all odd rows will have this color. So the nth child selector matches every element that is in the nth child of the table or any parent. So therefore, in this example, we'll make every third in the list item gray. So let's look at an example of how you can use a zebra table. So when you use that property, you can create this kind of table. And then hover to highlight property. So using this property to your TR or table rows, you can specify that any table row that your user points at is highlighted in the color you specify. So in this example, we will expect that if we points at a certain cell, so this will change the color to this color. So let's see what that looks like. Example 17. So here we use the hover property for all table rows. So if I point out, so see that it changes the background color. And then we have the overflow property. So with padding, additional columns and rows, your table can easily grow rather big, overflowing out of the div you had planned for your table in your web page. So you can use the CSS overflow property to resolve this. It has 4 values other than initial that sets the default value and inherit that will allow it to inherit from parent elements. And these are visible, hidden, scroll, and auto. So with visible, content is not clipped and may be rendered outside the padding box. With hidden, content that has overflowed is hidden. So this will make the overflowed content inaccessible. For scroll, content that has overflowed is made accessible via a fixed scroll bar. And for auto, content that has overflowed is made accessible via a scroll bar, which appears automatically when required. So to handle horizontal and vertical edge content overflow, you can use another attribute, overflow X and overflow Y, respectively. So let's see an example of how we can use overflow property. So in this table, we use the overflow hidden property. For the second table, we use the overflow scroll, and this is how it looks like. And for the last, for table 3, we use the overflow auto. And for the last table, we use the overflow X auto. So to handle the vertical edge of the table.